Hello and welcome. This is Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching. Goddamn audio didn't kick in. Oh well. Oh, looks like the camera's not facing the dogs. Oh well. All right. Well, how's everybody doing? Only got 3 more days till the end of the month here. Guess we'll see what happens. Let's see. I don't know. I just wanted to do a show where people could talk about whatever we want to talk about in the true crime world. Just been so, all the crazy people that show up on my videos for the Delphi case every single day. Hey, thanks, Laura. Puppy Vision, just every day they make these comments like, the FBI said Ron Logan was the killer. Puppy Vision. No, they didn't. And when they say that his cell phone pinged at the crime scene, they didn't say that. They said his phone pinged consistent with. Meaning, if he was sitting in his house and it pinged, it would be consistent with. Okay, we went over all this stuff before. Ron Logan isn't... Okay, I'll just say this. Ron Logan is not Bridge Guy, okay? That's 100% fact. Richard Allen is not Bridge Guy. He's not the person in Libby's video. Now, if you want to believe that he's at the crime scene with Richard Allen, then sure. We can, hey, all right, Richard Allen was at, and then he can come forward and tell the truth. Yeah. Except, I don't think he could be there. I'm not sure what time he left to go to the pet store, but I think they have proven that he isn't there, okay? And they looked into him deeply for a long time, and they found absolutely nothing. Do you think a 78-year-old guy like that doesn't really, he's not a computer whiz or anything like that, that somehow he's going to know how to completely cover up a case where there's a massive amount of blood, and it doesn't make any sense. And all these people are just totally, it's this new information about the phone or the car driving by at 248 instead of 228. They just 44. I mean, they make it seem like it's just so big and important, and it isn't. It just means that he was interrupted at a different time, a little bit later. Perhaps when Richard Allen told his story, he tried to minimize it a little bit what he did, because I've never believed, I've said it on here, that after he took the girls across the creek, I don't think he killed them right away. I think he continued to do whatever he was going to do. Right? So we got that. Then I made that video. Again, another video with hardly any views. Nobody, and somebody actually typed in LOL. Like, that's a funny video. You know, and if you're LOLing because you don't think it's similar, then you're a fool. That case is like eerily similar. It's like literally, other than a car was being used to drive, it's the same story. So almost exactly the same. You know, Richard Allen said he waited, you know, and when the girls came by, it's the same as when that car was driving his car and it turned around. It's the same thing. You know, here's these two people that this person's going to abduct in the Hawaii case. Then Richard Allen sees the two girls walking by. Then that car in the Hawaii case turns around and comes up back again. And then, you know, the girls are there. And then he forces the girls into the car with the gun. And then in the Delphi case, he forces the girls down the hill with the gun. Then they're down the hill with the gun, and maybe down there he tried to get them to undress, and then this person had the girls exit the car at gunpoint and then get back in, where one of them got in the back seat and one of them got in the front seat, and then he assaulted the one in the back seat. Then he had the girl in the front seat get in the back seat and was going to have her undress, and then a vehicle came in and disrupted. I mean, exactly the same thing with the Brad Weber vehicle. And after he was just, interrupted, he decided, almost exactly the same. At that point, he goes, I got to kill them now. He was too nervous, but he wasn't going to let them live no matter what. Neither was Richard Allen. Richard Allen was not going to allow Abby and Libby to live no matter what. So whatever story, when he tries to tell people that, like he says, I killed him out of being selfish. Right. And you were going to do that regardless. It wasn't like at the moment you thought, oh, I'm going to be selfish. You knew that you were that way, and you're going to be killing them. Yeah. And I know it's a lot to ask everybody, but we're on the 28th of the month, and I'd like to try to have a couple good nights going into the last night of the month so that I can have enough money to be able to donate something to charities, because we've just been absolutely decimated the last week or so. Haven't even come to 50%. I think it's been 25 and 50% of just the normal low-end gold that we used to always have for like 5 days in a row. So if you guys have the ability to help support the channel, that would be fantastic. Not sure what I did. I'm just doing the same shows I've always done. Let's see, didn't notice anything, but I had a higher fever. Huh? What's that got to do with... Huh? Let's see. What unethical creators are doing. Yeah, I'm just really disappointed in some, like, I don't know, man. The Delphi case is one of those ones where any conspiratorial-minded person can turn it into something else, and it's to their advantage to do so, because that means that they can continue to have content on the Delphi case well into the future. My content is like when there's an update or something like today's video is just I'm trying to point out, and for example, the guy in Hawaii with those two girls, he had a gun too, like Richard Allen did, and had it worked the way he wanted to, he would have bashed both girls over the head. He would have strangled both of them. There wouldn't have been any noise at all. And in Richard Allen's case, he used a knife instead of strangulation. And then he had the gun in case he needed it. The guy in Hawaii actually ended up needing it on the one because she was running.
I'm busted for next few months, but I can look in my shoe. Aha. This channel is always highly oriented to benefiting others.
Thanks. You know they exist. I appreciate it. Yeah. There's something so off lately. Let me hold on. Let me read some of these up here. Let's see. Arrests were made of the monkey snuff cult. I don't even know what that is. See, a true crime talk is needed. What unethical creators are doing to true crime coverage, and that subs are choosing to watch this vile. I know, and it sucks, and I'm punished for it because I'm not one of those people, and it's just not as fun, It's not as fun to just watch normal true crime. You got to be part of the conspiracy nutters. I mean, what's weird is like even the people that watch me don't support me as much because I'm not doing that. It's wild, you know. Let's see what else we got here. I'm busted for the next few months, but I can look in my shoe. Anyways, thanks. Gray, there is something so off lately with the algorithms. Haven't been alerted to so many people's videos. Well, oh well. I'm on every single night, so you don't really need to be alerted. You just come check out, and I'm going to be on. So, you know, I get that. People say that a lot. I think the reality is they're watching something else, you know. Let's see. Wallace said she watched. Yeah, she watched my channel. She also watched Bob Motta's channel. Now, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Bob Motta is the one that Walla told that to. You know, the defense team likes to leak shit, so who knows, man. I mean, just because I came forward and said I heard a rumor back in March of this last year that Richard Allen told a psychologist. I didn't know what her name was, you know, or the psychologist's name. I know it's a woman now, so I just knew that he told a psychologist that he got interrupted when a van drove by. And I always thought it was when he was on the other side of the creek. So obviously I didn't have the whole story, just that one little bit. Okay? And that's a year after he confessed. So how does me hearing the rumor have anything to do with the creation of the confession? Do you get what I'm saying? These people are nuts. All right? Hey, all right, Paulette Leonard, 48 months. Dr. Wall, if anything, was geared. Yeah, I mean, she kept trying to get him to. I mean, I think if there was somebody that was really interested, she would have asked way more follow-up questions to his confession and got more information. But she just kind of let him say one little thing, and then she, you know, was trying to help him with the phone calls and not say stuff, etc. Yeah. All right. Well, we also have coffees out there, you guys, at the Buy Me a Coffee. See it on the screen there, underneath the name. See? It's in the Delphi case, so I didn't watch much on those nights, but I wasn't cheating on you. I was instead watching the Wade Wilson crap. Well, if it's crap, why were you there? You should have watched the Delphi case. Yeah. How could somebody? It's weird to me. It's just like when Karen Reed. I'm not interested in Karen Reed. And people are probably like, man, how could you not be interested in Karen Reed? I always think the same thing about the Delphi case. You know, how can people not be interested in that case? You know? It's weird. Like, how could you not be interested in it? It's been going on for 7 years. Yeah, I mean, I see Court TV's covering Karen Reed, and it's just these same people covering it over and over. And it's just the same thing every single night. Everybody ruminating on, you know, particular theory or something. It's just, I don't know. To me, the Karen Reed case is one that she was overcharged originally, and the prosecutor is probably too strong-willed and thinks he knows more than, you know, what the reality is, so wants to charge her with something, and then he's angry, so he's going to keep going and going and going. It's stupid. All right? I think what you could say in that case is maybe charge her with something like, somebody akin to drunk driving hitting somebody. You know, you charge her with that, and if that works, it works, but, you know, there's people who don't even think she did anything at all, and then it's like, okay, I don't know. You know, where are we at? But it's more about the drama. Yeah, see, that's the whole thing, is everybody's into the drama of Karen Reed, not really the factual elements. It's just drama, drama, drama. Oh, what's Turtle Boy saying now? Who's doing that? And Sebastian Rogers, nobody cares at all about like literally finding him. They're more about like trying to, oh, who said this and that? Ooh, wow, look at this and that, blah, 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 blah. You know, Proudfoots versus the other guy. It almost sounds like something out of Lord of the Rings, you know. You know, the Hobbits. I'm sure there was Proudfoots in there. And then there was the Rogerses. Yeah. Yeah. More value. Yeah, I mean, that's what they always say when you got to create value to the viewers. You know, and I would think that some of the value would be that, you know, when we do these shows, you know, every single night we bring in revenue and ad revenue comes in sometimes. And at the end of the month, the value is that we're, you know, making a difference out there by supporting different charities and so forth from the income. It's kind of like a bulk effect, and that's just something we've always done. But, you know, I'm sort of nervous that we're not going to be able to do that anymore. You guys. I don't know what's going on. It's almost like it got worse. Everybody was like, hey, when Trump wins, everything's going to be great. Well, it's got worse. This is the worst month I've had since January, since 2020. Okay, so I'm not sure what that means. Is there just too many other people out there, or I'm not providing anything? I mean, I noticed there isn't a lot of, like, I get maybe 200 people watching, and man, I think this shit that we're talking about is interesting, but it's just not interesting enough, apparently. Yeah. I think what most shocking is that I wanted to believe the defense really believed in his innocence, but it's pretty clear they don't. Yeah, they don't. They're just trying to find a way to get him off, but with a technicality. That's all they've been doing. You know? That's it. I mean, I can go switch the camera around, but make sure to send in some super chats when I go do that, all right? And not one. Come on, you guys. Yeah, so that's we got these little caves for them. They like them. There's two of them. There's one over to the right. Yeah, it was muted. But they've got like, they like those little caves. They're kind of cool. So there you go. Yeah, none of the people. So what I'm sort of disappointed about is, like, chasing truth is now going to go down. You know, ooh, I'm pretending like I'm going to pretend that it's like really interesting. You know, I'm really just digging into the facts, and it's not, man. You know, when people, because you could already see that she believes Richard Allen, it wasn't fair that Richard Allen, you know, isn't the guy. And so it's sad, you know, because I can just tell you that there's no chance that Richard Allen isn't Bridge Guy, okay? And if you just take the time to look at it, then that would inform the rest of your thinking. But if you just go, oh, I don't know, and you sort of ignore the really key stuff and try to pretend that Betsy Blair described, oh, it's a totally different guy. It was like, oh, that's just you wanting to believe it instead of just saying that it's somebody. You know, nobody remembers what somebody looks like, you know, the next day when they weren't told to remember something. Okay, and she said brown hair. You know, he looked like this. It was 111 feet away, factually. Turned around at the barricade, and that's it. Okay, 111 feet. You can't see anything from there. Oh, thanks to Martina, and let's see, we got, it just says someone just supported you with a coffee. All right. Thanks for the coffees. I don't know. I don't understand it though. I mean, you know, I like her and everything like that. I just don't understand. It's just, to me, it's just so, it's disrespectful to the case, okay? Because the jury found 12-0, and she said something like, well, that's their opinion, you know? You know, that's their opinion. Okay, but before the trial started, I was telling everybody that Richard Allen is the killer, and then they go, well, he's innocent until proven guilty. And then it was 12-0, and now it's just their opinion they're wrong. Okay. Right, everybody. Right. So, I mean, the thing is it's so frustrating for me. It's so freaking frustrating. It's almost unbelievable. I mean, people can make whatever they want. She can make whatever she wants, and you know, I guarantee you it's going to go down the Odinist route, and they're going to, you know, the Brad Holder shit over and over again, and they're going to read the Frank's memorandum and all that crap. It's all going to be thrown in there, and by the time it's over, oh wow, all the, you know, Delphi, Richard Allen is innocent crowd will all be over there, and yeah, sure, it gets you more subs, gets you more views, all that kind of stuff, but do you sleep well at night? Yeah. And there's Susie Clue. Right. I mean, the thing is like, let's see, let me move. I gotta get a different screen here. We always have the same screen over and over and over and over again. Yeah. Yep, so we see this again. And you guys, let's just go all the way over to this part right here. Yeah, right here. So those are the four girls, right? And then right after they get to the bench at 126 and 127, the black car drives by. It parks. And that's Richard Allen's black Ford Focus with special rims that were noticed. Then he said he got out and he walked to the bridge and saw three girls. And those same three girls saw him. So there's no doubt in anybody's mind at this point, if you have any kind of logical brain at all that works, that this right here, those girls saw Richard Allen, and so that means right around like 133 or so here, he's on his way to the bridge. Okay? That's just a fact that this is Richard Allen right here. Okay, now they go, well, he said he got there at 12 and left at 1:30. Great. Yeah, well, he did say that. But he originally said he got there at 1 and left at 3. And then he goes, wait a minute. It was 1:30 to 3:30, he told Dan Doolin. Okay? So he changed it. Even in that one conversation. Then years later, when he was arrested, see, this is what the truth is again. On February 14, 2017, the girls' bodies were found around 12:15. Then, The very next day, on the 15th, law enforcement had already got into Libby's phone and found the video and isolated actually had 3 original still frames that they put out. One wasn't as clear as the other, so they eventually ended up on this one. But there were 3 original frames. I even made a little cycle with those 3. So they put that out in the paper and they said, hey, we'd like to speak to this person who was out at the bridge that day. And then guess what? He did exactly that. The next day, he goes into the police station and said, yeah, I was out there. Yep, I was there. And they turned it in, and then they put the tip in their system. And then Dan Doolin on the 18th was sent out to go talk to him. Hey, thanks, Rubicon girl. So Dan Doolin went out to meet with him. And then Richard Allen told him, yeah, I was out there, because he thought, this is what I really believe this, you guys. I mean, and I can't prove what I'm saying here, but just the timing. I think Richard Allen saw his own picture in the paper. He had passed those 4 girls. He has a public job working at a CVS pharmacy where people would see him. And I think he got paranoid, and he turned himself in, basically saying, yeah, I was walking there, but he didn't say he was that picture, because he was just trying to fish to see what they had. And he came forward because he thought he was toast, but if he came forward, it might look good, like he was, he would just want to see what they had. And then he goes home, and then he was shocked out of his mind that for 5 years nobody had ever come back to talk to him. He could not believe it. And I don't think even law enforcement can't believe that they didn't do it, right? It was just the way that things were. Everything was scattered around. And it wasn't until Kathy Shank, and I believe it was September of, like the last 3 weeks of September, the 3rd week of September of 2022, she was digging around trying to refile the file system and get everything organized, and came across the tip narrative from Dan Doolin. And then finally, she actually had information about all these other witnesses. And see, that's what's interesting, right? Is she already knew that these 3 girls saw a person coming in. So that was one of the questions they needed answered, and they've always believed that the person that the 3 girls saw was Bridge Guy, because they all said, yeah, that's the guy we saw, the guy on the bridge. So just think about it like that, you guys. The 3 girls, when they were shown a picture, and there's 4 girls, but one of them's too young. When they were shown a picture of Bridge Guy, they go, yeah, that's the person I saw. Yeah, that's the one right there. And their descriptions out of their memory were a little, like, right at first were slightly different. Like all dark, all black. One said light blue jeans, light blue jacket. But yet they all saw the same person. And then when they saw the picture, they went, yep, that's the one we saw. Right? So that means that law enforcement believed, and believes to this day, that the person that those 4 girls saw is the person in Libby's video. Okay? Then, after, so then, okay, so that's what they've always believed, that the person in Libby's video is the same person those girls saw. And then, based on the timing, you'd think that the person that Betsy Blair saw, see, that the interesting part about it is the Betsy Blair sighting before Richard Allen showed up was a little questionable in their mind, right? Because all you have is this guy coming in at the bridge, but they know that is the guy. And then Betsy Blair's description's a little different, but she also says, yeah, the person in Libby's video is the person I saw, but maybe they're just not quite as sure on that one because her description's a little different, sort of like brown, poofy hair, etc., right? Do you get it? Hey, get a lobotomy, Green Day. Get a lobotomy, all right? So do you get what I'm saying? So, right, that's what they had at that point. And then you have Libby's video at the end of the bridge with the person in the video that is responsible. Okay, they also had the bullet at the crime scene, but you can just throw that out. And then you have Sarah Carball. You can throw that out. Okay, you can actually just throw all that out. Let me check my audio. Sometimes I might be on the wrong thing. But you guys, we're currently at $11.99 on this show. So we are really struggling again. Can you guys please help support my channel so that we can continue to do the stuff that we've been doing for all these years, okay? I don't know how many more times I need to ask, but I really would appreciate it. Thank you. It's just really, really frustrating. I'm doing the same shows that I've always done. All right, so here we go. I think I just switched it back. I'm on the right driver now. Does that sound better? Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Is that better? Is that better? Hello? Okay, alright. So anyways, just look at how I was just explaining it to you though. This is before Richard Allen even showed up. They knew that those girls saw Bridge Guy. And then they also knew that people had seen a car parked at the abandoned CPS building. So they were like, okay, I think that he must have parked there, then got onto the trails because he came in, and then he passed those girls. And now, do we think that Betsy Blair saw the same person? It sounds like it, because she also said it was the same person in Libby's video. And then you have Libby's video. That's it. Forget anything else, right? And then when Kathy Shank found that tip narrative, years later, let's see, years later, it comes in and it says, Richard Allen said I was there between 1:30 and 3:30, and when I entered past the Freedom Bridge, and I went under the Monon High Bridge Trail, I passed 3 girls. One was taller and looked like the sister of the, went into some description there. And then he said he walked to the Monon High Bridge to look at fish. That's what his story was. Well, the tip narrative was looking at a stock ticker. Right. All right. So that was what he's told Dan Doolin. He was looking at a stock ticker. And hey, thanks, Olivia and Brandon Collins. All right. So just think about it for a second, you guys. So when Richard Allen, when that information got given to the investigators, they went, holy shit, we now know who the person is that those 3 girls saw that they said it was Bridge Guy, the person they saw. We know that that's Richard Allen. And then they're like, okay, can we show that this person is the same one that Betsy Blair saw? Her description's a little different. Okay, then when they interviewed Richard Allen in October 13th, 2023, or 2022, he said that he actually said out loud that he was at the bridge and he was looking at fish and he was standing on platform 1. Well, interestingly, the entire time they had already known that Betsy Blair said that the person she saw was standing on platform 1. Do you get it? So now they know that the person that Betsy Blair saw is the same person. You know why? Because watch this. So after Richard Allen passes the girls up here, that's 1:33, it takes 11 minutes to get to the bridge, and he said he stood on platform 1. So right now, he's standing on platform 1 looking at fish. Hey, thanks, Dirt in My Eye, and Brandon Collins. Let's see. Hey, Gray was re-listening to Becky Patty's interview and was reminded about the small talk between 2 girls that we had heard was a non-public portion of the video. Yeah, they were just trying to figure out where to go and stuff like that. Hey, thanks, Dirt in My Eye. It was just, when they say small talk, it wasn't really small talk. It was kind of like related to getting the hell out of there. Hey, thanks, Dirt in My Eye. And look at that, Melanie gifted a membership. Very cool. Alright, so look at, I just want everybody to see how important this is. When people Like the dipshits that are watching in the background right now that think Richard Allen is innocent. You know, the hardcore nut jobs, you know. Like if you're just not sure, I don't care. Okay? But if you're one of the idiots that's out there going, "Oh, Richard Allen, poor Richard Allen, let's free a double child killer." Just pay attention. Okay? Just try to pay attention just for once in your life, all right? So this is Richard Allen that passes the 3 girls here. Now you want to know, hey, was it Betsy Blair? Did Betsy Blair see him? Well, it takes 11 minutes to get to the bridge. So he would have got there at 1:44. And look at the timing here. That's why the timeline is so important. Betsy Blair actually pulls in there at 1:47. It takes 6 minutes to walk from here to there. Get it? So that means when Betsy Blair got on the trail, Richard Allen would have had to run like Carl Lewis to be way over here, for example. See where I'm pointing? Like to sprint this way so that Betsy Blair didn't see him when she was walking to the bridge. He never mentioned running like a bat out of hell. Right, so here comes Betsy Blair. And guess what? When she gets to the bridge, where does she see the man standing? On platform 1. So what we're supposed to believe, everybody, is that in a 4-minute window, there were 2 people wearing exactly the same clothing standing on platform 1, but one of them hid in the woods when Betsy Blair got there. Is that even remotely reasonable to anybody, for anybody to believe? Do you get what I'm saying? There would have had to be 2 people in a 4-minute window that were both standing on platform 1, but Richard Allen's character, for example. So here's the thing. Richard Allen says he's standing on platform 1. Did he go hide in the woods right after that? He never mentioned that. Did he go hide in the woods? Because if Betsy Blair saw a different person, then Richard Allen couldn't be there. Do you get what I'm saying, you guys? I mean, that's why there's no out for him. And I've tried to explain this to people, and they just don't want to listen to it. She described somebody different. Did you hear what Betsy Blair said? Right. So just look at it. I'm going to do that part again. We know for certain the blue dot right there is Richard Allen because both sets of, he admits it and they admit they saw him. Then it takes 11 minutes to get to the bridge, and that's walking pretty briskly like they said he was. So he got right there. And he said he stood on platform 1. And then when Betsy Blair got there, she goes down here and didn't pass him. Oh, there he is. She got to the bridge probably at 1:54, okay? Which is about 9 minutes after he would have got there. But the thing is you can start counting the clock from here because she didn't pass anybody while she was walking, and it takes 6 minutes. Right? So Betsy Blair gets here at 1:48. That means Richard Allen, who got to the bridge at 1:44, there's only 4 minutes of time here. And by the way, this is only 1:40. He said he left at 3:30. Or, so it's not... come on. So at that moment, when Betsy Blair gets there, for people to believe that's not Richard Allen, you would have to believe that there was a second person there that was wearing the same clothing, and Richard Allen, though, at that moment, went and hid into the woods, and then the other person went and stood on platform 1 for Betsy Blair to see her in a 4-minute window. Then, after Betsy Blair turns around and leaves, she never saw either of those 2 people, right? She didn't see any of those people. So the other one just sort of took off and went in the woods too, and then, somehow Richard Allen got out of there. Look at Betsy Blair gets here, turns around and goes this way and passes Abby and Libby. The next person that Abby and Libby are going to see is Richard Allen, because that is Richard Allen that Betsy Blair saw standing on platform 1 exactly when he should have been there. Okay, then Betsy Blair walks all the way over here, looking yellow, to the Freedom Bridge and does not see anybody. Then she turns around and comes back this way, does not see anybody. Now when she's right here, you're in a unique position to see quite a ways. You can see all the way to about right there, especially with the bare woods, and she didn't see him. Yeah, and she got to her car and she left and took off, while Richard Allen is on the other side of the bridge taking the girls down the hill, just like he told everybody in his confession. All right? Now, the confession to me, he told it 5 years later. I think he was distracted by a vehicle. It's just, it sounds like it's later that he was distracted by the vehicle. He would be right at the crime scene. You can see right onto the private drive while he's at the crime scene. It'd be a little harder to see the van if you're right down below it. Because it's sort of like at an angle up there. But if you're at the crime scene, you could see the white van. Thank you, Laura. Great. Please define what facts are. Huh? No, I don't give a shit what... Kathy Allen actually doesn't think he's innocent. She might say that out loud, but she doesn't think he's innocent. You know how we know that? Because she said, "You didn't tell me you were on the bridge. Because otherwise I would have thought it was you because it looks just like you. But you didn't tell me." So she's always known it looked like him. Okay? That's why she said, "You didn't tell me you were on the bridge." Why else did she say that? "You didn't tell me you were on the bridge." I know. Isn't that a cool video? Med24 7RN. It's amazing how similar that case is. It's just the only thing that's different is the sort of the transportation mode as a vehicle. But it was controlled by a gun. Then they were made to walk at gunpoint into the woods, etc. It's just, and he was going to kill them quietly, like Richard Allen did. Yeah, I guarantee you she does not believe that Richard Allen is innocent. If she does, then she's been brainwashed by his attorneys. It's crazy to me, right? What happened to their Odinist theory? They were so into the Odinist theory, but man, that wasn't sticking. So hey, everybody, hey fans of ours, hey fans, check it out. Look at this. It could be Ron Logan too. Yeah, Ron Logan. I mean, why do you think they brought up the Ron Logan stuff lately? You have a question about that? Why do you think they brought that up? Ron Logan. What in the hell purpose was that when you kept trying to sell to all of your fans that it was these Odinists out there, replete with horns and... Hey, welcome, Med24 7RN. Well, hey, be a freak again. Med24 7RN. Yeah. I think I remember your name. All right, what do you got? What do you guys got? I mean, that's why I was trying to show everybody. For months and months and months, I was showing people this timeline here because the probable cause document was so damning for Richard Allen, trapping him in. He has no out. And for the people who saw it, the trial wasn't even shocking to them. They were like, yeah. And you know what's amazing, everybody? In this whole story that I just told you tonight, just a minute ago, did I even mention the bullet at the crime scene or Sarah Karbaugh at all? No. And you know why? Because those doesn't matter at all, those people. None of that matters. In fact, the jury said the same thing. They didn't use the bullet and they didn't use Sarah Karbaugh, and that's exactly how I would tell the story. And if I did bring it up, it'd be like an "oh, by the way." Oh yeah, we got a comment on Twitter from Dr. Zane Hemick. So you guys can't see it, but look. Right here, you guys, if I put it on the screen, see that little X right there? Do you think the Frank's memo increased Odinist membership worldwide because of the attention? Probably not. I don't know. But I just wanted to show that, hey, look, we got an actual comment from one of the other platforms. Yeah, but the bullet, I don't even know if it's even, if I was on a jury, I'm not sure I'd buy the bullet stuff. I would just be like, yeah, I don't know. Betsy Blair, 3 weeks later, shit, I don't know. And Betsy Blair doesn't make a lot of sense to me either. I mean, not her personally, but the, hey, thanks, Allie Cake. It doesn't make a lot of sense that, given both the timings. The original timing was at 2:32, the phone stopped moving, and that's when Richard Allen killed the girls. I think that still could be in play. It's just now he got interrupted after he took the girls across the creek when the van drove by. Okay, because, but that's at 2:44, 2:47 or so. So my whole thing was, I think he took the girls. How many times have I said this, you guys? Me not even agreeing with the timeline that that was at trial. I said that he took the girls across the creek and he continued to do what he was doing. I didn't agree with them saying that he killed the girls right after he crossed the creek. I think the watch never moved, or the phone never moved after that. But I think the girls were killed later. And I think at 2:44 is when maybe that's when he got, or 2:47 or 2:48 is when he got nervous. But I mean, why is he still walking around at 3:57? See, that's why Betsy Blair, in the state, the defense team would always say, oh, they have to have Betsy Blair to make their timeline work. And I was always like, what are you guys talking about? What part of the timeline does Betsy Blair make work? You mean that because Sarah Carbaugh is driving by? She did drive by there. That's 100% factual. Her car was on the Hoosier Harvest Store camera driving by, and she saw the group of people gathering at the entrance across from the Mears. So that is true. And if she did see a person muddy and bloody, then Richard Allen was hanging out at the crime scene for a long time. Rick killed his grandkids too. I don't know what that means. Never heard that. I mean the story that he told. Yeah, see, what's funny? The biggest suckers in the world are the Richard Allen, prison treatment believer types, that think that somehow he was crazy. Here's, you want to hear what the reality of what happened, you guys? Richard Allen was completely normal, sane. He was studying, not studying, but reading. He was exercising, etc., reading the Bible. And then he confessed. And then to his wife and mother, and his wife was freaked out and hung up the phone. He goes, "Oh, don't tell me." And then calls his attorneys. And then the very next day, he's as crazy as a lunatic. He's chewing on paper. They got a picture of him with stains on his shirt. You don't find that a little suspicious? And then they probably said, he confessed a few different times, so they said, listen, we need you to throw in some other random comments to different people that aren't accurate so we can claim that you're just throwing stuff out there. Okay? And I guarantee you that's what they did. I would actually bet money on it. And I bet you there's even a point where they had a conversation about, like, he got to read a book about, like, what are some of the symptoms of somebody that has this and that. And, cool, I'm going to start eating pay. It's garbage, you guys. Complete garbage. There's a lot of people that are in prisons that are held under the same circumstances as Richard Allen, and they don't turn into shit eaters, okay? Yeah. He was, though. I can't see some of the people in here. Any harm? Just thought I was seeing comments disappear. So anyways, I've been really frustrated because to me this is like the Kanika Jenkins case, where there's this clear picture And, even though the van drove by 20 minutes later, it doesn't affect anything because it was still there right in the middle of the crime. And it doesn't affect anything. But then you'd ask yourself, well, why didn't the defense team use the change in time, the actual time, and then use that to discredit Richard Allen himself and see, he just makes stuff up. He didn't get interrupted by it down below there. Because it's, and then use the evidence and say, look, he's just making stuff up. But they couldn't do that because it still shows that a van drove by while he's at the crime scene. And they also wanted to try to insinuate that Brad Weber had, he's driving by right at that time. Is it possible they got into the car and then, then they put the phone inside a refrigerator or a Faraday bag, something like that, and then they drove away, and then in the middle of the night they came back to the crime scene and put the phone back on the ground, and then, oh, don't you know, somebody laid next to her and put a headphone inside the jack and listened to some tunes for 6 hours and then unplugged the phone and then got the hell out of there. I mean, the thing is the defense theories that people want to believe in are so unreasonable. It's shocking, okay? All right, you guys, if you're out there, you can help support the channel tonight. I know people don't like that. All the trolls, oh, that gray guy, he's always... But this channel's given away $229,000 in the last 5 years to true crime-related charities, including a scholarship fund that's got $12,000 and over $100,000 to our DNA fund for identifying Jane and John Does. So if you want to call me shitty for doing that, then screw you, all right? The way this channel's been being treated lately, it's going to make it so there's going to be zero. And so that's your fault. And that will not be made up by the true crime community who gives nothing. Okay? I've seen it. The true crime community, the creators out there, I bet you that my channel has donated 10 times the total amount that every one of them has done over the years. Okay? So, screw it. Hey, thanks, Med247RN. Yeah, the trolls spend all their days trying to make it so that people don't want to donate or support my channel. And the sad part is they're hurting so many people when they do that. It's ridiculous. I don't want anybody sending my channel any money if you don't have the income to do it. If you can, then that would be great. It just seems like there's this negative pressure against my channel, and it's caused problems for it. And I guess over time we'll see if it turns around. Maybe we get some cases that are busier, but I definitely need your guys' support. Thank you. All right, so what else? What are you hearing out there that people are saying? If you need something cleared up. Okay, we're not talking about the Odinists. Okay, I can tell you that. All the Odinists. So look at it like this. The Odinists are out there, right? The people that believe in the Odinists. And they say that they're really the killers. But why do you think law enforcement, the FBI, Indiana State Police, and by the way, you keep saying the FBI are the ones that think it was the Odinists. I thought you said the FBI thought it was Ron Logan. Oh, that's right. I mean, he... Right, okay. So anyways, you know what's sad? Everybody says the FBI thinks Ron Logan did it, and then the FBI thinks that the Odinist did it. Well, was Ron Logan an Odinist? Do we find any horns inside of his garage or anything like that? Yeah. So what do you think the reasoning behind them not doing it? Like, why wouldn't the Indiana State Police, the Delphi Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, why wouldn't they arrest these Odinists? Why were they not interested? Why didn't they believe in it? And so you know what you have to believe at that point? You have to believe that there's Odinists inside the police department. Just buried inside there. inside the police department, and they're out there, and they're trying to protect their fellow Odinists. And you know how we know that? That is what the defense team believes. Okay? You know how we know that? Because they brought up that prison guard situation. Oh, those couple prison guards, they had it. See, they're working on the inside for the corrupt police. There's these Odinists in there. Ooh, it's so creepy. Yeah, sucks. Ooh, man. I'm not making anything up, Victor. You sound like a clown. I'm actually telling you the truth. So they have these prison guards that have these Odinist patches, and they're like, oh man, they must be in there working for the Odinists that are out there. But the fact that law enforcement didn't look into the Odinists and didn't believe that they were part of it means that you would have to believe that they're covering up. They're covering up for it. Because wouldn't they have wanted to make an arrest a long time ago? Seriously. They would have wanted to make an arrest a long time ago. But here's what you'd also have to believe. Is that the night before the murders happened, they snuck in to Richard Allen's house. They didn't even know who this guy was. They just went in there and they rifled around. Ooh, look, he's got a gun. Okay, quickly put one in there and inject it really quick. Okay, shh. Yeah, take that bullet. All right, now tomorrow, when we go out and we're going to have those girls meet us there at the bridge, let's leave the bullet at the crime scene, okay? And then years later, if law enforcement struggles to pin it on somebody else, like a Keegan Kline or some other guy out there, we'll be able to say, we'll magically come up with this tip narrative, and then, do you see how stupid this is? That's what they actually think. It's dumb. Why do you think that law enforcement didn't want to go with the Odinist theory? Does anybody have a good reason out there if you're one of the wacko Richard Allen lovers, okay? Well, why would I answer it if you said that, Gray? Hey, thanks, Rubicon Girl, for... Come on, everyone. Oh, she wrote on one of her coffees, she wrote, come on, everyone, support Gray in his missions to report the truth and his outstanding talent with timeline graphics and mapping. No one does it better than GHI. We need to support these real and honest true crime channels, and GHI is one of the best, and no other channel donates more than him. Keep doing what you do, Gray. You're one of a kind. Well, there you go. All right? That's it. See, somebody else said that, not me. It's just, well, thanks for that coffee, and that one is just, keep doing what you do, Gray. You're awesome. And then, F the trolls and all the shit eaters. That's what she said on her coffees. All right? So there you go, everybody. Is that not something to maybe listen to a little bit? No, I don't even know what that means. Who's Blake and Justin? I don't even know what that is. You talking about the Karen Reed case? Who let the lunatics out? I don't know. Yeah. Well, we're 60 away from getting halfway to the old low-end goal again, you guys. We're just like getting crushed. Thank you, Stacy Pittman. Thank you, Gray, she said. What is the reason? Can somebody type it in? Richard Allen lackeys out there. Why didn't law enforcement go with what Ferenczi, Click, and the other guy came up with? Wait, some Irish name. Why didn't they go with that? Can you give me the answer to that? Yeah. Come on, somebody. Somebody out there, type it in. Yeah, Murphy. I knew it was an Irish name. Yeah. I guess Ferenczi is kind of Irish sounding too. Yep, you notice how there's never an answer? So what's going on in the Delphi case is that everybody is looking for a technicality, all right? They're looking for a technicality to get off a double child killer. Wow, look at that. T. Chosen gifted 5 Crazies Investigates memberships. We've got MP, Songbird, Katie, Angela, Evington, Stephanie, like DeSoto or something. You know what's weird is I can't see those in StreamYard. They don't pop up because they're not an actual comment. Now, what's this one over here? After Goal removed the original defense, took over and said he's never been more confident. Yeah, do you actually believe in that? Why did that comment get removed? You don't need to remove those comments. I don't want you to remove any of the pro Richard Allen comments, you guys. All right? I mean, I don't want you to remove the comments. I want to be able to comment to them, but yes, go find your people. I agree with that. Go find your people. I don't want you to remove the comments, though. I want to be able to read them. So it says, after Goal removed the original defense, these other 2 attorneys took over and said he's never been more confident in a client's innocence, like Rick. I mean, that is so stupid. Hey, let me ask you guys something. You know those attorneys that took over for him? One of his attorneys that took over for him, a year before he got, those 2 sub attorneys that came in after Baldwin and Rosie were removed. That one had said a year prior or so in an interview, oh, that gunshot information is really damning for this guy. And then let me ask you something. What do you think that attorney was going to say? Hey, do you think Richard Allen's innocent? And he's going to go, defense attorney. He's going to say, well, the stuff I saw, man, he looks pretty bad. But, he's got his day in court, I mean, give me a break. Those guys always say the same thing every single time. You can't look at when you watch Baldwin talking on these interviews, his eyes are shifting all over. I'm not a body language person, but he knows he's selling people a bunch of bull crap, you guys. It's incredible. His explanation when he was discussing the freezer. Hey, he put a phone in a freezer or a Faraday bag? Did you guys hear that part? That was lunacy, you guys. And his whole talk about that. It was like this. Yes, everybody, if you correlate the 2 factors relating to the distilled versions of not only the synthetic devices that counter the destructive force. He didn't say a damn thing like I just didn't say. He just tried to make it sound like he knew what he was talking about. He just mumbled the hell through that. If you actually just go listen to it, doesn't make any sense at all. Now, we think maybe he took off and he came back and then they put it in a Faraday bag or a refrigerator and then then the female attorney gets on there and she says, I forgot her name all of a sudden. She gets on there and starts talking about the phone jack. That thing is so debunked, it's unbelievable, you guys. Look it up on your own. Hey, Odinist people, if you're bored, just get onto ChatGPT or type it into Google, for God's sakes. They'll tell you the answer, and it'll even give you the source of it. Apple said many times that a small amount of water, especially waters with minerals or dirt in it or something, can make a connection inside the phone, and then as soon as that dissipates, or just what goes on one side even, it's like, so it doesn't make the connection, it looks like it's been ejected. So you can imagine in a 6-hour period, if there was a small tiny amount of water that maybe the heat of the phone or something maybe evaporated the small amount that was in there, and then boom, the connection's lost. Now it looks like the phone was taken out. Hey, thanks, Christina Johnson, or Johnston, for the coffee. Their response to that was they never said or reported that water... That's bullshit, though, Cindy. It said, no, the phone never said there was water damage. That's what the phone didn't say. Right. That means the phone didn't record water damage. It doesn't mean that if a little tiny bit of water gets in there creating a connection, that the phone thinks there's water damage. It would just think that there was a phone jack put in there. Water damage is something different than that. Don't you get it? I heard their explanation. It was terrible. Again, they just try to say whatever they want you to hear. Right. That's okay, Amber. Which people? The ones that just keep saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over again? Right, they say, oh, look at, they didn't say that there was water damage. See, that the FBI person that they used, the ex-FBI person, was a liar, okay? And, you know, what she said was totally bogus. I can't think of anything out there that could explain it has to have been a person. No, you're wrong. You're a complete lie, okay? Right, well, I heard him say it. He said that exact sentence where, oh yeah, no, it's... All right, you guys, we're 55 short of half still. My God, this is so tough. What happened to all the people that were supporting all the time? Maybe they went on vacation. I don't know. It's just sad. Reported that the water or dirt was found. No, it didn't. But you're misreporting it, Cindy. Yeah. Yeah. Their statement was that when the FBI agent said that there was no report of water damage in the phone, so it couldn't have been that that's how the connection was made from water. It had to have been a person plugging it in. But let me ask you something. How come, why can't anybody give me a good explanation of how or why somebody in the middle of the night, well, it's like this is what the fence is claiming. Let me do a close-up on this. Hold on. It's like this. Watch. In the middle of the night, this is underneath. Look at. By the way, these are cool phones. You guys ever get one of the flip Samsungs? Pretty sweet. So they go, and they look the same, and after you fold them up. But anyways, I get it. This is old. This phone though, it's about 3 years old. So in the middle of the night, the phone's under a body, right? And then somebody and it's under a shoe. So there's a shoe, and then there's a part of, like, Abby's on top of it, right? So that means somebody reached in and somehow in the middle of the night was able to find the little hole or whatever, just kind of without being able to see it. They plug it in and they're listening, and they sit there for 5 hours. Then later they go inside and they unplug it. Why would anybody do that? That's not what they say, Gray. They said they put it in a Faraday bag or a refrigerator. Okay. Well, that's even worse, okay? That sounds so ludicrous, it's almost scary at that point. Thank you, Luke Stedman. The part was dumber than the Odin part. Yeah, just listen to Baldwin try to explain that whole thing. It's so stupid. It's on that one interview on one of the channels. It's embarrassing. Shameful, actually. Yeah, just like, okay, So we think it's possible she was like put in a. They went down the other end of the bridge and they put it into a car, and they were driven away. And then, maybe they put the phone while they were driven away inside of a refrigerator, a Faraday bag. That's why it didn't report to the network for so many hours. And then when they put it out, all these messages came in, and then, and then when it was at that other place, somebody plugged a headphone into it while it was in the Faraday bag, so that still didn't report, but it was. Hey, thanks, Laura. Gray, wouldn't you be insulted if someone gave you these ridiculous explanations and insinuates that they think you're stupid? Yeah. That's what's so amazing, that there's people out there that believe this stuff, And you can sell it, too, because you can go get Brad Holder's Facebook page and see these pictures of, branches on the ground making letters or whatever, and then he has a picture of two girls that are on the ground underneath branches, and you can go out there and sell that he was there, because look there's a picture and it looks sort of like the one with the it's wild. But they looked into all of those people, and how come none of them care that the defense was given an opportunity to speak at that 2-day hearing, that huge 2-day hearing they had, and create a nexus between any of their Odinists, any of them, and they made none. They found nothing. Well, that's what law enforcement was supposed to do. You see, because they lost the phone that Betty the Holder. How come, they didn't download Holder's phone. They didn't do a data extraction, they said. But they got the kid, I guess, because Brad Holder's kid, they say was dating, whatever that means when you're 13, Abby. So therefore, it has to be the Odinists. What do you think? Let me ask you something, though. I mean, I know this sounds kind of crazy, but since Abby was dating Holder's kid, don't you think that Abby would have recognized Brad Holder as he was coming across the bridge? I'm just, throwing that out there as a theory. Don't you think she would have recognized him when he says, "Hey guys, oh hey, Mr. Holder," Oh yeah, it's picking up again. Everybody's gonna start doing whole documentaries and podcasts on the nefarious Odinists. Yeah. Yep, common sense is not common anymore. Well, but they do, though. Look at, if I was covering, and I'd be better at it than they are. So here's the thing, everybody. I would be better at pretending Richard Allen was innocent than the people that are doing it right now, because I'm better at proving stuff. So I could come up with and invent stuff, and I would present it in a way that seemed logical and reasonable. But you know why I don't do it? Because I actually consider myself to have integrity. I know what the reality is. I think people who are trying to sell Richard Allen as innocent have no integrity at all. And I think that they pretend that they have integrity. And they want me to believe, no, I'm just looking at it like, I just take the couple minutes, go over the probable cause document all by yourself, map it out, and you'll see that Richard Allen is bridge guy. And that's all that matters. You don't even need to do the bullet or anything like that. Just go right to the end of the bridge and you've got him. He's done. That's him. It's not reasonable to believe in anybody else, because you have to believe that there's two people that were standing on... Richard Allen was standing on platform 1 in a 4-minute window And then another person stood on platform 1 when Betsy Blair got there, but Richard Allen disappeared into the woods. Does that make sense to anybody? Like, that's something that happened? That a guy wearing the same clothing, basically a convention of Richard Allen lookalikes showed up there that day? Just kind of misdirection. Yeah. I think this is the first time I've ever, believe it or not, like I've never thought about the two-person thing like that. Because that's what they're saying. Okay? They're saying Betsy Blair saw somebody else. But don't you think it's amazing that... Okay, so from right here, Betsy Blair could see that there was somebody on that bridge for a long time. So when Betsy Blair, like let's get it. Betsy Blair right there could already see the start of the bridge. So that would have been about 150. She's the one in the yellow. And then Richard Allen got to the bridge at 144. And that's walking quickly. You know, if you walk just kind of a little bit slower, then that'd be 11 or 12 minutes. And so she's looking over there. And when she gets to the barricade, there he is, standing on platform 1, everybody. See? That's Betsy Blair. Oh, look at that. He's standing on platform 1. She gets to about right there. And then turns around and goes the other direction and passes Abby and Libby. But the thing is what they want us to believe is this. See, like, look when Richard Allen gets to the bridge. And look at Betsy Blair is almost, look where she is, and he's not just at the bridge. And she's passing the Hoosier Harvest Store. So in this little animation, I have him getting there like at 1:46 or 1:45. But even if it was 2 minutes earlier. So she gets out. And Betsy Blair goes to the bridge. So the defense people want you to believe that when she gets there, she sees this other person. Okay? Even though Richard Allen said that after passing the 3 girls here, he went right to the bridge. And then he stood on platform 1 looking at fish. So when Betsy Blair got there, Richard Allen somehow left and went over here somewhere. And then this other person came running out of the woods, jumped on the platform 1 wearing similar clothing. And then Betsy Blair saw that guy. And then after that, that's the real killer. And then Richard Allen somehow got back to his car without passing Betsy Blair because she went all the way to the Freedom Bridge and back this direction. Where did Richard Allen go? Oh, that's right. Right there. And he went out there. That's right. So here it is. Betsy Blair goes over to here to the bridge. Abby and Libby come this way. Now watch. Right when Betsy Blair's right here, Richard Allen would have passed the girls and then went like this up on the road and then walked like that before Betsy Blair turned around and walked that direction. Except that's not what he said. He said he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. And he never mentioned that he turned around at the bridge past Abby and Libby. He never admitted to seeing them. It's so obvious, you guys. It's this morning at like 8 a.m. in the morning. I think they were foreign people. What were they talking about, Cindy? All right, guys, we're currently at 1/4 of a nightly goal. So if you have the ability out there to help support the channel, that'd be awesome. Oh, it looks like Ted Bundy sent a coffee in. We got the serial killer back in. All right, Ted Bundy. And we got a Cash App from Christina Johnston. With the written notes to court, it's over. Well, he wrote that one he confessed, but see, I'm always confused at that. He confessed in a written comment, and then somehow, like he literally wrote a confession, and that doesn't make it to somebody. I think my thing is the fact that he's apologizing to the family in some of those confessions gives it way more validity, don't you? It seems like if you're just making up a lie, you're just throwing out a lie, and you're just throwing something out there, you're not actually considering what the family's feeling. But if you were actually the killer, that's when you would say something like, you know, I'd like to apologize to the family, you know, for what they've gone through. That's what makes those, like 2 or 3 of those confessions seem absolutely legit, because he's actually concerned about what the family is going through. But his attorneys, wanting fame and glory, knowing and believing in their own minds that they felt like they could get him off somehow on a technicality or some kind of angle, we could trick a jury member, that they would, they just wanted to try the case. I mean, they'd do anything to get back on that case. Remember, they were going to do it for free, for God's sakes. And then, you know, that's when the judge ruled that they could be back on the case. Now they're making all their bank again. I thought you guys were going to do it for free. Yeah. He confessed to his mother. Who does that? Right, and the thing is one of the things that I always was pointing out at the end, I thought it was a pretty good observation, not to pat my, you know, back or whatever, but the somebody's got to do it, right? Was that I felt like Richard Allen was begging people to believe him. He wanted to unburden himself, to use one of Kamala Harris's phrases. He was trying to unburden himself because I think he felt shitty. And I think that's why he withered away those 5 years, is because he was living on borrowed time and he knew what he did, and it ate him away. You know, I actually do. I think it made him feel like shit. And then he was reading the Bible, and then he felt like he wanted to make things right. So to unburden himself, he wanted to confess. But he wanted to confess, and he wanted to know that if he confessed fully to the charge, would you still love me, Kathy? And she'd never answer it the way he wanted to hear. She kept saying, yes, I love you, but you didn't do it. See, and that's not what he wanted to hear. That's not what he wanted to hear. He wanted to hear that they would love him even if they absolutely knew that he killed those girls. And I think at that moment he would feel secure and feel like they would still love him, and he would confess fully. But they wouldn't do that. But there was one moment at the very end, one of his later confessions, I think, when he was talking to his mom, and it was weird because we were going through the trial again, and I was like, boom! He even said that. It was amazing. And so after I had came up with that theory, we were going through the different confessions out there, and he was talking to his mom, and the mom said, he said, Mom, would you love, I did it, Mom, I did it. And I want to know if you'd love me if I did it. And she goes, yeah, I'd love you, but you didn't do it. Again, she said something like that. Then he says, no, Mom, I did it. I just want to know that you'll love me even if you know that I did it. And she said, I would love you even if you did it. So he finally got that answer. But I think now we're down in the road where the defense team's in there convincing him. And then, but you know those times where he would say stuff like, well, I'm not sure, you know, I think I did it, you know, because he's already admitted to doing it, right? And now he knows that Kathy's disapproving and not saying she would love him if he did it. So now he's saying, well, I think I did it, trying to then sort of diminish what he just said. See, that's how I look at it. I think that he was begging, looking for somebody to believe him, somebody that would love him, even if they knew that he did that. And he couldn't get it. He couldn't get it. And I've never seen somebody confess so many times in my life where nobody wanted to believe him and nobody would accept what he was saying. And here we are. You know, look at it. It's wild. So, all right, you guys, I'll try again. If you're out there, if you could please help support the Gray Hughes Investigates YouTube channel. We're getting close to the end of the month. We've had a disastrous last week or so in here. So if you have the ability to help support the channel, maybe it'll help us get some, so we can donate something at the end of the month. That would be great. I would appreciate it, but only if you can afford it. If you can't, then don't do it. He had a lawyer. Police could not. Lawyers didn't. Yes, he wanted to confess, and his lawyers didn't accept it. He had lawyers. Police could not interview him again. Yeah, but he wrote the confession, so why isn't that good enough? Yeah, we're 40 away from doing half the goal. Can't they be disbarred in that case? I think Judge Gould made the right decision when she wanted to remove those attorneys. I think these two attorneys, in my opinion, are unethical. I think they're just almost, it's disturbing the level of depravity that they seem to have. Thanks, Gina Powell. I think her decision was totally correct, that they aren't looking out for Richard Allen's best interest. They were looking out for their own best interest. And we know that because their defense of Richard Allen was so pathetic, just almost like childishly bad. And they're trying to blame, well, we weren't allowed to bring up our Odinist stuff. No, because you couldn't prove that there was any nexus at all. Nothing. You just wanted to throw it out there. And now you want to bring up, and so what they did was they came up with that, the Frank's memorandum in support of the Frank, the memorandum in support of the Franks hearing. Okay, that's what they came up with. And in that document, they were avoiding the gag order. They intentionally, so there was a gag order, there was this whole series of things. And they broke the gag order by putting out the memorandum in support of the Franks hearing, knowing that it was supposed to be sealed. They put it out there on the regular server, let a few of their little podcast buddies know about it. Then they download it. Now it's out for everybody to see. And I knew that that document was coming out 3 weeks prior. So how come the defense team wackos aren't angry and saying, oh, Gray, you must have known? How did I know that 3 weeks prior to the Franks memorandum being put out, did I know that it was going to be put out? Okay, that's because one of the other freaks in here actually knew a person that is friends with the actual people that put out those images. The images that were put out. They actually knew one of the people, somebody related to that person, right? And they knew that was going to be put out, and there it was. 3 weeks later, it was put out. Did I tell them to put it out there? No, it's just when you're part of the case, you get to hear rumors and different things, right? That's just the way it is. But they put that document out there, and look what it caused. It did exactly what they wanted it to do. It took a bunch of the sort of gullible nut jobs in society, the ones that believe in conspiracies every chance you get, and they started reading through it and going, oh man, they got the wrong guy, they got the wrong guy, they got the wrong guy. And it created this whole community of nut jobs, all right? And those people are out there right now making videos at their videos, at their videos, at their videos, and having way more success than this channel. With hundreds and hundreds, they get 500, 600, 700 people watching, 1,000, 2,000, 1,500. And I'm over here telling you guys the truth, and I don't think it matters, Amber. I've tried to explain it to her. She's, it's because once you believe it, that means you can't do the rest of your videos, So, hope so. I wish she, I tried to explain it to her. Don't worry about it. Dirt in my eye. Don't worry about it. Hey, thanks, Amber Maiden. Itself, so I didn't know about some of this stuff. At what point in the trial did the judge remove? Oh yeah, so it was So they put out this Odinist doc. Let me keep going though, Kayla, so you know about this stuff. So they put out this document that had all this Odinist crap. Talked about the crime scene, the branches, the F tree, the this and that, and all this stuff, and it created this whole community of nut jobs. And then after that document was put out, within a couple months or not too long after that, crime scene photos were leaked. And what turns out, it was one of Baldwin's friends. He says, so what happened was a guy named, Robert Fortson. He had these images and he gave them to a person named Mark Cohen. And that guy released them all. Then an investigation occurred by the Indiana State Police to figure out where in the hell this leak came from. And it led back to a guy named Mitch Westerman. Mitch Westerman is a friend of Andrew Baldwin, and he claims he went into Baldwin's office, and he went into a conference room waiting to speak with Baldwin, and lo and behold, there was a bunch of crime scene photos sitting around on a table, and he thought, well, damn, why don't I just take some pictures of these, and then I'll give them to my friend Robert Fortson, and then Fortson can then do what he wants to do with them. And it led all the way back to the office, and it turns out that the Robert Fortson individual killed himself because of the investigation. And then Mitch Westerman, I believe, this is my opinion, that he bit the bullet for the defense team, that he was the firewall. It makes sense. Because if he said, well, Andrew Baldwin and those guys, they're the ones that wanted me to put this out there, it would be a huge problem for them. Instead, he claimed that he took those pictures. But what's really interesting about that is, in one of the documents I remember reading, that Mitch Westerman was provided the entire memorandum in support of the Franks hearing. Okay? And in that, he got the supporting documents, meaning the images as well, the crime scene photos. So why would he need to take pictures in Baldwin's office of images he already had? Can anybody explain that? And the answer is that's not where he didn't do it. He didn't go into the office and take those pictures. He was told to put those pictures out there because they believed the pictures of showing the girls on the ground and branches on both of them would back up their Odinist theory inside the memorandum in support of the Franks hearing. Okay? That's exactly the truth. In my opinion, that's the truth. Okay? I mean, I can't tell you it's 100%, but I think that is absolutely what happened. All right? So what do you think about that, Kayla? Pretty crazy, right? And then, just like that, the same technique that they used, and then the judge brought them up and brought them into their office, and the judge told them that you guys can either resign from the case or we can have a public hearing. They said, we're just going to resign. And then, like little babies, they file a complaint with the courts because she didn't have the hearing, and the upper courts put them back on only because she didn't have the hearing. But she didn't have the hearing to let them save face. But they used it against. I mean, it was just, these guys are just scumbags, you know. So they were put back on the case, and just like after the trial and everything, there was just a pathetic defense. They got just creamed, 12 zip. You know, there wasn't any, barely, I guess it was 9-2, or let's see, 10-2, then 9-3 or something like that, or 8-4, 9-3. And then they came back 12-0. But the other three before were just undecided. It wasn't like, we think he's not guilty. Nobody shifted from not guilty. They were just undecided people. And then they used the same shitty technique. They used the same technique as they used for the memorandum in support of the Franks hearing. They used the same technique after that to put out this new information. Like they're filing, corrections of errors. You left out. How is it a correction of an error to not bring up the Ron Logan, quote, confession in the jail. They just wanted, you know what they did? They just wanted you, the public, to read it. Just like the memorandum in support of the Franks hearing. You know what the first paragraph in there was? It was something like, hey, everybody, if you're not aware of this case, this might be a good thing to read. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous, you guys. So anyways, they put out this thing with Ron Logan. I mean, don't you just find that insane? You know what this is? The thing they put out for Ron Logan. Listen to how weak this document is. Listen to this. So apparently Ron Logan told this guy named Davis Reese or something in jail about, this kind of, like he used a box cutter. He was, like he kidnapped the girl. He took the girls or something, and he asked them if they wanted to go see his bunnies and his horses. And Abby was like, "Yeah, I want to go see the bunnies." Really? Well, why would she say that after she'd already said, "You've got a gun, he's got a gun, don't leave me up here, Libby"? So that doesn't make any sense. Then, shit. What was the other part? So the Ron Logan. Oh yeah. So this guy named Davis Reese was told by Ron Logan, and then there's this other individual who is a Indiana State Police polygrapher. So what we're seeing in this document are the notes that the polygrapher took of Davis Reese's, what he recalled that Ron Logan told him. And not only that, the polygrapher failed him in that lie detector test while he was taking those notes. He failed the Reese guy. So you got double hearsay on a failed lie detector test as one of the levels of the hearsay. What a joke. It's just great. That's just because you don't want to believe it. Well, I don't believe it for a whole bunch of reasons. And, he may have said box cutter or something like that. And I actually read here, watch this. It's pretty interesting. Somebody sent this to me the other day. Let's see. It was... Right, so here it is right here. So there's this person in 2019, August 29, 2019. Watch this. So this is just some lady, the crime sheet. She had a lot of crap wrong in it. I mean, she wrote like a blog, probably did a podcast, I would imagine. But look at that. Look at this right here. He needed to get the girls off the official hiking path to limit his visibility. Then I believe he attacked Libby first with a blow to the head to try and render her unconscious to gain control. Which is weird. That's just like the Hawaii case, but I guess that isn't what he did. He ultimately pulled out a sharp object, most likely a box cutter, or a tool he would have had on him regularly. Wow! Holy crap, everybody! This girl must have killed the girls because she knew about a box cutter. She mentioned one. See, don't you think that's funny? I mean, like, look, she just mentioned a box cutter as a theory. So how do we know that this little Reese guy didn't just throw it in there, just like this person did? Maybe they read the same document right here. She almost said the exact same thing, actually. I wonder if that Reese guy read this. Hey, maybe we should start doing that. Hey, defense team, did you have Reese read this? Let's do the whole reverse Dr. Walla. Kayla said, I get all of my Delphi information from your channel. I don't bother looking anywhere else, so thanks again for recapping, because if I miss a show, I don't know info at all unless it comes up again. Yep. Well, thank you. Hey, thanks so much there to Vicky White for gifting a membership to El Piddock. All right. Okay, so what else, you guys? What else? What are some of the stuff you guys are hearing out there? The thing is, if you just show people the timeline and you show that how it has to be Richard Allen, even after Betsy Blair, then it's just, come on. Abby and Libby then have to run, and they go, I think I saw the girls. They always focus in on that. Like, she thinks she saw the girls. But the true story is that came out at trial is she saw the girls, and then when on the news, when she saw the missing girls, she goes, oh, God, that's who I passed. It was much more clear than that. But you're not going to hear that because when people want to tell the story to fit the narrative of questions. Well, here's the thing, you guys. Watch this. So let's say you don't want to believe that it was Abby and Libby. And that's why knowing the timeline proves that it was Abby and Libby. Because when we look back at this right here, watch this. Here comes Betsy Blair at 1:47. Then 1:49, Libby had already dropped off the girls and was passing the Hoosier Harvest Store. So that means they're exactly where you'd expect them to be heading to the bridge. And we know they went to the bridge because they took photographs there. We see one at 2:07. I think one was also 2:05 documented. But watch this. So Betsy Blair gets out and the girls are walking. Abby and Libby are likely walking much slower because they're just there hanging out, taking pictures. Betsy Blair's exercising. So she turns around at the barricades, comes back, and passes Abby and Libby exactly where they would be. Because look at this. Watch what I'm doing here. Watch. Betsy Blair gets out. Then Abby and Libby are dropped off and they start walking. Betsy Blair goes to the bridge and turns around. I didn't stop Abby and Libby. I didn't try to do any trickery or anything. Look. Turns around and he passes Abby and Libby. Therefore, Abby and Libby have to run into the guy that was standing on platform 1, which is Richard Allen, because Betsy Blair saw the person standing on platform 1. Richard Allen admitted to standing on platform 1, and it's all within a 4 or 5 minute window. That's right. That's right, News Crasher. That's right. All right, we still need 29 more to reach half of the normal old nightly low end of a goal. That's just, you know, I'm just trying to make things happen for the end of, get this month ended at least somewhere. What round did the Broncos make it to, Amber? Yeah. How can people deny this? I know. The timeline is so it's so clear, There's no out. It just is what it is. It's a huge step. Bills the first one. Yeah, I don't even watch football at all. I watch the NBA and maybe some golf here and there, but that's about it. Is there anybody in here? Like, I remember when we were doing the trial, and I would go over the timeline, and there was a bunch of people that would show up that had never seen it before. They go, "Oh my God!" And I think it changed a lot of people's minds. But I don't know if any of those people are here now. Is there anybody here watching right now that still, even when you see this, you're like, I don't know, man. Things just don't add up. Man, do I have to throw myself in prison again? Just to get to the halfway mark? You were one of them? Dirt in my eye? Cool. Sweet. That one's behind over there. They're trying to say it was errors in the trial they want to correct, and then they're going to do appeals. One issue that they brought up that is relevant is that Richard Allen's story was that he went to his mom's house. They wanted to go have lunch. He decided not to go to lunch. Went home on the way home, bought a 6-pack, drank 3 of their beers at home. Then he got a jacket, went to the trails. Then he lied in wait when he saw the girls. Then he had him go, pulled out a gun, had him go down the hill. He was going to assault them down below. So when he says down the hill, that's like almost 2:15 at that point. So he has them go down the hill. They're likely down below at like 2:18, and then his phone stopped moving from 2:18 to 2:25, and that's where you would think that he said in his story that he was going to assault them down there, and then a van drove by and it scared him, and then he took the girls across the creek, and then he killed them on the other side of the creek. And his story matched the theory that law enforcement put out there, but they were probably tailoring it to his confession. And so that means that, when Brad Weber got off of work at 2:02, he'd be driving by there if he could get home in 20 to 25 minutes, at around 2:22 to 2:27. Which matches that. Like, oh my God, he was scared after the phone stopped moving from 2:18 to 2:25, and then it starts moving again. It goes 50 meters, and then goes up 2 floors, and then that's at 2:31, and at 2:32 the phone never moves again. It just sits there. All right, so then you think, well, the girls were already killed, and then he took off. So that was the state's theory, and that's kind of matches what Richard Allen said. But it turns out that the van drove by at 2:44, and it was 2:48. So now you're looking at an extra 20 minutes. So that would be more likely that the phone stopped moving down below. Maybe he considered attacking them down below, and then he thought, wow, this is too wide open. Hey, and he forced the girls across the creek, and then he had them completely, this is how I would tell it, he had them completely undress on the other side of the creek. And then on the other side of the creek, while he was sitting there, so the phone, he had him undressed, so the phone's on the ground. It's never moved, didn't move again. And that was at 2:32. That's when he started having them undressed. Makes total sense with the timeline. The phone's on the ground. And then he has their clothes are off, and he's doing whatever he's doing. We don't know. Then about 13 or 14 minutes after that, the van drives by, and that's when he may have panicked, killed Libby, and maybe he left Abby alive. See, that's kind of what I think, is he panicked and killed Libby. And I think he actually he kind of felt like he didn't want to kill Abby, perhaps even let her redress again. And then he, out of the selfishness that he's talking about, is that decision that he did at the very end. He consciously thought about it. See, when he killed Libby, it was more like panicking. Oh, there's a car driving by. He panics and he kills Libby. But then he didn't want to kill Abby. He let Abby dress, at gunpoint, whatever it is, she dressed herself in Libby's clothing. And she's sitting there, but I think he changed his mind out of selfishness, and that's when the consciousness of selfishness popped into his head, and that's why he remembers that, because he killed Abby out of selfishness, and then he left. Doesn't that make sense? I think that makes complete sense. That version right there. And if there was another trial, you just weave it in, because he got distracted by the van. It doesn't change dramatically anything. Right. I mean, I actually kind of would tell the story that way because it sort of bothered me. Let's see. Well, thanks, Rubicon. Rubicon's helped me out in the background here on Buy Me a Coffee. I'd like to reach the goal, you guys. Is there something I could do to help get the support for the channel up a little bit? You tell me. God, that makes total sense, doesn't it? Hey, thanks, Vicky White. Very cool, very cool. And thanks, Rubicon Girl. Is very kind. She said, trying to get you closer to the goal. Yeah. Just think about what I just said again. Picture it in your head. I'm going to go back to... I'm going to go to... Yeah, so check it out. This is how this went. So there's a camera on this house right here. And it was filming like this. So this house was filming like this, and a car, the van, drove by right over here at 2:44. It's 12 hours off. So it's possible that the camera, if it's 12 hours off, it might be off 12 hours and 20 minutes. Don't know. But let's say it is correct. I bet it is. You know, I can see somebody setting the clock and putting the wrong, it's 12 hours off. Although it was military time, so that'd be kind of odd, but... So the van drives by right here. So let's look at it like this. Let's follow along here. The video of Bridge Guy starts here at 2:13 and 51 seconds. It ends at 2:14 and 34 seconds. And, that's already been down the hill. So that means they start heading down the hill, and, you get down to the private drive at like 2:15, maybe 2:17 down at the bottom here. And then the phone stops moving. I think it's 2:18 to 2:25, but it might be just like 2:20 to 2:25. I don't know. But they start walking over here, but maybe he gets them to start undressing over here. Like he's going to do something. And then he realizes, man, this isn't really that safe. There's a bridge over there. You can see it. He just didn't like it. So you think, oh, let me take him across the creek. So then he takes them across the creek. And once he gets over here, they climb up like over 10, like, I don't know, it looks like 9 or 10 feet over here. And maybe that's what created at 2:31, the elevation change. So they go up over here, and he starts having them undress at 2:32. It's possible, like people said, that maybe the phone and a shoe were in the hand, and when they got up to the top there, they just dropped it on the ground, and it never moved again. The phone was under a shoe, and then he has the girls completely undressed. I think Abby still had on her maroon top that she had, or pink top. And then at the crime scene, like 15 minutes later, so this would be 31, so like 2:46, a van driving by right here. I mean, it's crazy. From this spot, you can see the crime scene. So when he saw that van, that's when he just goes, oh my God. And maybe, hell, who knows? Maybe Libby said something. Like, hey, there's a van, and he kills Libby out of anger. Yeah, I already said that, Kim. Yeah. So anyways, he did out of anger, he killed, was it 54? No, I don't think it's 54. It's 2:13 and 51 seconds to 2:14 and 34 seconds. It's 43 seconds long, not 40. So he kills Libby out of anger, and that's why it looks the way it looks. And Abby was just like petrified over there. And she's nude, has her pink shirt on, and then after killing Libby, he probably, looked at Abby and felt something like, oh, I don't want to kill her. Maybe she was crying, and who the hell knows. And then he let her redress in Libby's clothing. Because that makes total sense that he let her, she's the one that dressed herself. And then that's where his selfishness took over. And that's why he remembers it. See, if it was just like he killed him, he wouldn't have thought it, like if it was just procedural, I don't know if he would have thought about selfishness, you know. But I think in that case he thought that, like, oh, she'll be able to identify me, and literally contemplated selfishness, and that's why he remembers it. With Libby, he wouldn't have thought of it like that. What do you guys think of that? All right, you guys, only 19 more to go on here, and that with Rubicon and everybody helping out, we could almost make a normal-ish kind of goal. Right? So that's all we need. 19 more on the live stream. This ain't working? What isn't working? What do you mean? I don't get it. This wrench ain't working. What do you mean? Well, you guys are as dead as a doornail. It's like everybody just quit commenting. Yep, there's the coffee link if anyone wants to do that one. Very likely spot on now. Yeah, I just feel like that's it right there. To me, it didn't change much other than it doesn't match Richard Allen's stated story perfectly. But Richard Allen also told the story 5 years later. So maybe he realized he was scared by the van, but didn't remember exactly when the van scared him. And maybe he did intend to insult them down below, but move them across the creek for a different reason. And then is associating the van with, like, you know, that situation. I mean, it was 5 years later. No, he killed Libby first. They all believe that. I don't think the coroner said Abby first. And so Abby, you know, it's so interesting when you talk to, you know, when I interviewed Holman, we were talking about some of that. And it's just so amazing. I think it sucks that when I interviewed Holman, it got 4,000 views. That's so low. It's pathetic. And it's important. You know, it's like an important interview. I asked him a lot of interesting questions. But strangely, nobody saw the damn thing. It's like, unless you're a Richard Allen lackey, whack job supporter, nobody sees it. Because you're not saying what they want you to say. So, hey, thanks, Allie Cake. Hope you're feeling better, Allie Cake. Really helps me. 231 elevation change, 232 undress, right? Still had her own pink top, yeah. Yeah, that's what yeah. So Libby had Abby had two different bras on, a sports bra and a regular bra. I think that might have just been her clothing. And then she had on her the pink top that you see in the image of her on the bridge. Her gray sweatshirt that she had on the bridge, or hoodie, was in the water. She had on Libby's sweatshirt, which was actually Kelsey's sweatshirt. And the gray sweatshirt she had on, the gray hoodie I mean, was also Kelsey's. So of course a hair could get in her hands. Okay, Nimrods? Yeah, so anyways, so she had on her pink top, a sweatshirt, and then she had on Libby's jeans. She had Libby's sweatshirt on, Libby's jeans, and her own like Chuck Taylor high tops on. Hey, thanks, Allie Cake. Only 9 away, you guys. Can we do it? Of course, I'd like to do more than 9 because that just puts us at the lowest, the end. But I'll just take any, you know, whatever it is, man. It's just. I went to watch it, but literally 2 days after my membership. What stream? It wasn't. It's not members only. It's Anybody can watch it. Nice try, though, Kayla. Nice try. Let's see. I just put it out again where it's Becky's and it's all in the one video. It's like 2 hours long. It's Becky and Jerry Holman interview all in one. You can just sit there and listen to it. See, what's strange, when you listen to me talking here, and then you go listen to the Conspiracy Nutter channels, don't you see a vast difference? Like, in terms of, like, a rational discussion on what something means? I'm just saying. You listen to them, and it's just one, just sort of platitude after another, where it's just the same, they say the same incorrect nonsense, like, one person couldn't have done this. There's no way one person could do this. No way. And it's just garbage. Today I put out a video comparing the Delphi case to a 1975 case out of Hawaii where that person did the exact same thing. Controlled him with a gun. I was trying to kill them quietly, but you know, like if he'd used a knife, it probably would have worked the same as Richard Allen, but he tried to hit the girls, knock them out, and then strangle them to be quiet. And then one of them ran, and that's what disrupted him. And that's exactly why Richard Allen has his gun with him, to control, and as a last resort, to control one who may be escaping. I'm not going to play their clips. Thank you, Gina Powell and Kim S. Yep, now we're just 10 away. I think it's 10. I can't see the... Anyways, what else you got? Any other thoughts out there? And here is it. This is what I think. Like, if you don't watch, this is where they think that this guy named Elvis Fields was right here. Right? There's some guy walking around here at 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning. Oh, it's got to be Elvis Fields because it fits our theory. Of course, they left that out of their commentary at the end. Why didn't they put that in there with the Ron Logan stuff? Right. Anyways, well, look where Richard Allen lived. Just right there, right? I mean, as a crow flies, look how close this is. That's only, God, I mean, it's pretty wild, actually. It's only 1.25 miles from his house. You know, it's interesting to think about, though. Why didn't he just come over here and walk down this private drive here? You know? Just kind of be over here. And that's because he didn't, that's not what you would do. He wanted to go over here and observe people. So what he did was he got in his car over here and drive this direction. And then he turned, yes, the street right there, turned on North 450 West. Then he turned left on West 300 North. Came over the Wilson Bridge. Drove up like this, passes the cell tower. You can see the shadow of the cell tower there. And then Ron Logan's property. Passes the cemetery. Passes the Mears Farm. Passes the Hoosier Harvest Store at 1:27 and 35 seconds. Drives around, would have parked over here like 1:29, maybe got out of his car 1:30. Got over here at 1:33 to 1:34 after passing the three girls. Then he walks this direction, takes 11 minutes, got to the bridge at like 1:44, 1:45. Then at 1:47, Betsy Blair drives by the Hoosier Harvest Store, parks her car, gets out, walks this direction. Sees Richard Allen standing on platform 1, exactly where he said he was standing, wearing exactly the same clothing that he described himself wearing as the bridge guy. Then she turns around, Betsy Blair, and walks this direction and passes Abby and Libby at about 1:56 or 1:57. Then Abby and Libby would have got to the start of the bridge at about 2 o'clock. maybe 2:01. Then at 2:05, she takes a picture of the full length of the bridge going that direction. Then Libby keeps walking this direction and takes a picture at about 2:07 of Abby right there. Then they walk across the bridge, and at 2:13 they're on this side of the bridge, and Richard Allen, who was over here, makes his way across the bridge and takes the girls down the hill right here at 2:14 and 34 seconds. Then the phone stopped moving for 5 to 7 minutes down here. Then he takes them across the creek, and in this location the phone never moved again after 2:32. Okay, and then I think he continued to assault and do whatever he was doing, standing away from, don't know. And then at 2:46 or so, Weber drives by, freaks him out, he kills Libby, and then Abby's, is that why he was there for a longer, let's just pretend that Sarah Carbaugh's sighting is real. And that's one of the things that the prosecution or somebody needs to explain that. What was he doing? So when you say that he was scared, so even in the prosecution's theory, and that's why, those kind of things bug me when you don't think of, that's not in there. Their theory is that at 2:32 he killed the girls and he got out of there. Then why is he still walking around at 3:57 with Sarah Carbaugh driving by? See, I think that the van drove by and it may have forced him in his own mind to kill Libby. And then Abby was still alive for like an hour. That's just what I'm thinking right here. That he was alive for about an hour, or she was alive for an hour. If Sarah Carbaugh's sighting is real, then I think he had her alive for a while, maybe about an hour, like 30, 40 minutes or something. And then at some point he went and got the branches and put them on them. And then he goes up because you're looking at an hour and 15 minutes before Sarah Carbaugh sees him. So how do you account for that time? So you have to have something in there. I would actually have a different theory on the case myself of the timeline. All right, guys, we're still I think it's only 5:17 away from the goal, or the half the goal. All right, and then I think people on Buy Me a Coffee, etc., helped get us to meeting the low end of what we used to have as a goal. With her dressing herself makes sense. Yeah, so it wouldn't take her more than, 5 minutes to dress. But why do you think she was redressed? Doesn't it make sense that he actually had some remorse a little bit for Abby? And then when he sat and thought about it, he goes, I can't let her live. I work at that pharmacy. She'll recognize me. She's seen me up close. And that's when his selfishness came in and he killed her. I think that's kind of why else would you let somebody dress like that? That makes no sense at all. It's not some weird, bizarre, serial killer kind of move. It really what it is when clothes are wet, and her clothes might have already been in the water. And Libby's clothes were likely still on land, and they're much bigger, so a lot easier to put on. And so she was allowed to redress in clothing. Yep. What do you guys think of that? Hidden in the woods a while. Yeah. Maybe I need to put that out as a video of that theory. What do you think? I think that might be kind of an interesting video. Get people thinking about it. I'll just have it a theory, like a theory video using the timeline. If you add in the 248, because I think it doesn't bother me. It's not a perfect match for his story, but it still makes sense. It's like, okay, he just didn't remember when the van startled him, the van was still there. But why didn't the defense team use that? You know, that's the whole thing, is why didn't they use that as, here he is again, he's lying again. And they knew that, well, it still places the van there during the time that he would be there. So that doesn't really work. But also, you know, it ruins our timeline. So the reason they didn't bring that up at trial is, well, first of all, well, yeah, why didn't they had the information about the 244 to 248 before trial. They didn't bring it up because it messes up their timeline. They wanted people to think that when Brad Weber drove by, he's a viable suspect, that the girls could have got into the car. But if he's driving by at 248, it doesn't make sense anymore. So they didn't want to put that in there. And then another oddity is that at trial, they made it seem like the girls got into his car. And then a second theory that they brought up was that he got into, or that he wasn't even there. Like, he went off to service his ATM machines. So, like, which one is it, you guys? Did they get into the car, or was he servicing the ATM machines? And so that would disprove the ATM machine theory, right? Because this is only 20 minutes later. I mean, I guess he could have checked on one machine, something like that. But he drove by at 2:44. So, like, 2:46, he's driving by the bridge. What trial? The trial's already happened. You guys can do it. I know you can do it. We're only $5.17 short of half. The freaks can do it, man. Let's see. Would have been good to have it out before the trial. Yeah, well, like, apparently the prosecution had it, but you can't prove the time on the camera. It's consistent, though, the shadows and everything. It's the right time of day. I think it's probably accurate that it was 2:44. Yeah, it wouldn't shock me, though, if it was 20 minutes off. If it was already 12 hours off, maybe it's 20 minutes. But 12 hours seems like a really specific error, where the 20 minutes you're sort of grasping, trying to make something fit now. You just kind of wonder why the defense didn't bring it in, and that's because it didn't fit their strategy and the trickery they were trying to use on the prosecution. All right, now it's only $4.17. Oh, you're going to do a coffee? All right. Defense theories change with the wind. Yep, it does. Many gusts of wind. So what's some of the other stuff that has you confused out there? Anybody? Thanks, dirt in my eye. Let's see. Nobody? I'm clear as a bell. All the angles you have covered. Yeah, and the thing is, that's it, though, right? I mean, that's it. The angle is this, you know, like my... That's what's so interesting to me, is if people just know this, you know, this right here. Right here. Ding, 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 ding. Right there, it's over. That's it. That's all you got to know. That's what the jury used. So if they got another trial, the defense should spend their entire time, not on trickery, but trying to disprove this, and they can't do it. They cannot do it. You know why? Because those same, look at right here. If I go back to the beginning, see these three girls right there? This is 1243. What was Richard Allen's second story when he was arrested? Not arrested, but questioned. What did he say the second time? Well, in October of 2022. What time did he say he got there and leave? I know what time it is. I want to see if you guys know. What time did he tell Liggett in 2022? No. Come on, Jessica. Jesus, you're a... Yeah, 12. Yeah, he got there at 12, and he left at 1:30. All right? He said he got there at 12, and he left at 1:30. Don't you think it's a miracle that it's exactly right outside the range that he originally told? Because he originally said he got there at 1:30, and he left at 3:30. But the thing is, see these three girls right here? They were on this bridge over here at like 12... let's just say between 12:15 and 12:25, right here, right? They're right at this bridge, and they walked all the way down like this, and they took a picture of themselves at the Monon High Bridge at 12:43, and there's no Richard Allen. Then they walked this way like this, and at 1:26 they're right here. They had not seen Richard Allen yet. No guy, nothing looked like him. They only saw that person when they're leaving at 1:30. And Richard Allen admits to seeing them too. So, do you get it? There you go. Absolutely no doubt about it. Hey, thanks, Sandy Shirley, for the coffee. And so that means that those same girls... that I have a Poffus guy's a babbling idiot, Oh yeah, that's because I trashed him in his comments. He's a loser, I mean, he's an embarrassment, He's one of those people that uses that name and acts like he's just really on to something, really clever, really thinking through things, I've got to just, wow, embarrassing. Let's see. Yeah, that's because I left a comment and I said, this is ludicrous. So then he felt, oh, now I got to go after Gray. Yeah, that's what the weak minds right there. Let's see. Too bad all those initial interviews and recordings went missing. Now, which ones? What are you talking about? The initial recording of Richard Allen wasn't recorded. It was just written down as a narrative. All right. Too bad you didn't know that. I bet those three little girls had to have some major counseling after all. I don't know. They didn't really witness anything. They just, other than him walking by, they didn't see anything gruesome, or maybe though. Yeah, if the girls took that picture. Hey Richard, is this you in this picture? No. If the girl took that picture, it's not me. I think that's funny, actually. Yeah, nope. If the girl took it, it's not me, okay? What you're really saying, Richard, is, well, if the girl didn't take that picture, then yes, it looks just like me, because it is me. But if she took it, then it can't be me, so it's not. Right. No, they wrote it down as a narrative as it happened, you fool. Yeah, they wrote it down as it happened. He actually took the notes and wrote it down and put it in there. They didn't lose anything, okay, fool? I know you want it to be that way because it works for your little Richard Allen lackey story. Oh, Jesus. These people, I tell you what, they'll come up with anything to make something work. Yeah, let's see. So Dan Doolin lost the recording. So years later, 5 years later, they say there was a tip narrative in there that was blank. And then Kathy Shank said, hey, Dan, do you remember what was on this thing? And he goes, oh, yeah. That's a guy named Richard Allen. He said he got there at 1:30 to 3:30. Hey, what do we need for the facts? Give me a break. You guys are just... Kathy needs an I'm with stupid t-shirt. Yeah. And the thing is, I believe Kathy Allen saw the bridge guy and thought that might be her husband, but when he told her that he wasn't on the bridge, she was able to go, well, I guess it could be somebody that kind of looks like him. And that's why in the Holman interview, when she was told about that, she told Richard Allen, hey, you never said that you were at the bridge. That's because she knew that the person on the bridge always looked like her husband, but she was willing to default to that not being him because he said he wasn't. And who the hell wants to believe their husband or spouse killed 2 girls? Now, it is amazing how creators corrupt people. I mean, look at people like Bell Mayhem up there. They're one of the people that got corrupted by the nut jobs. You know, the Sarah Burkharts, the Lawyer Lees, the Eye of Apophis, Slow Joe, Delphi After Dark. You know, all the crazy people out there. I mean, absolute nutty nut job people. I don't need the facts, Bell Mayhem. If I even see an email from you, it's going to be blocked. You're incorrect. All right? I already know the case. You don't. I can tell by just reading what you write. All right? Awesome. You're incorrect. They didn't invent a narrative. It was there. He wrote the narrative at the time, years ago, and Kathy Shank stumbled upon it. Okay? Now, if you're going to claim it's something different than that, then you're a crazy person. And, of course, the people that you watch have to say stuff like that to you because it gets you ginned up and you believe it, because they're only out to explain something. Everything is a conspiracy. Everything's crazy. I don't, because it's going to be false information. I don't take false information, Bell Mayhem. Sorry. Yeah. Let's see. I can just tell by what you just wrote. All right. If you have a factual piece of information, then go ahead and send it. All right. Like a literal document that says exactly what you just said. That they lost the recording, so he just invented a whole narrative 5 years later. All right. Go ahead. Ah, jeez. Bell Mayhem. What a crazy person. I heard Sarah say, I said blood and mud. Yeah, she said that, but I don't even know if Sarah Carbaugh saw anything. You know, I never cared about Sarah Carbaugh nor the bullet. Okay? Richard Allen is bridge guy before the bullet. You know? So you got all these people that care about these other things, like, Dan Doolin, etc. But Richard Allen himself corroborated what Dan Doolin said. So here's the thing is, you don't need Dan Doolin anymore. Dan Doolin's interview is what led to Richard Allen. But Richard Allen's own words, he said he got there at 12 and left at 1:30. Sure, he did say that. However, the facts of the case put him there at 1:30 to 3:30, just like Dan Doolin said, as he was interviewing Richard Allen. So the Dan Doolin stuff isn't even important. Yeah, I know that they lost the information. I don't know if it was the Dan Doolin information, if there was a recording or not, but they said that they lost information on one of the videotapes of an interview or something. Maybe with Brad Holder or something like that. Man, you guys get so focused in on stuff that's like, you're looking to, like, people like this Bell Mayhem guy, they like to try to free a double child killer on a small, like a technicality. Give me the information, the alibi information for Richard Allen. All right. By the way, you guys, on the show here, we are $4.17 short. Is there anybody out there that's going to help reach that goal? Yeah, Slow Joe, that guy is an embarrassment. He actually threatens to kill people out there. Just like Delphi After Dark, Rick, he always threatens violence on people because his theories are so shitty that his only out is to try to, like, hey, show up here and I'll beat you up. Well, that's what that's an odd number, but that's what we're short, Stacy Pittman. Yeah, now if he had a body camera then it's disappeared, then sure, it disappeared, but he still wrote the notes, you know, at the time, right? They were written at the time of what was said in the meetings. And it was pretty clear because he said originally, Richard Allen said he got there at 1 and left at 3. Then he shifted from 1:30 to 3:30. But anyways, I guess we'll just end up being short. But I want to say thanks to Sandy and Rubicon. 1, 2, 4 from Rubicon. Thank you so much. Then we also had Ted Bundy. Then Christina on Cash App and Allison on Venmo. Then we had Susie Clue. Then someone, it says, there's no name. And then Martina on Buy Me a Coffee too. Look at Stacy Pittman with the exact number. Look at that, eh? Let's see if it says it on here. Oh, look at that. Boom. Absolute even number on there. Thanks, Stacy. Appreciate that. But did you find tonight's show interesting at least? I know we just kind of ended up talking about the one case, but maybe I could be the, you know, while we're waiting for responses, a place for rational minds. Except you sort of get stuck after a while because what else is there to say, you know? I don't have a whole story I can tell about, you know, invent about Brad Holder and the Odinist clans. You know, that's the whole thing. Is if you're following the Delphi case factually, you realize Richard Allen's the killer, right? There's a lot of people out there that the only case that they ever covered is Delphi. I cover all of them. All right, like it's crazy some of the cases that somebody, great, have you ever covered this one? I go, I think so, and I look it up, there it is. Boom. Really old, you know, stuff all over the place. But what's going on here is there's people that they see a popularity in something, or that's the only case they ever covered. So how do they keep it going? Well, you pretend that a double child killer got railroaded, and now you have every day you can come up with a new show, a new video on all kinds of different things. It's got to be this, got to be that, got to be... Yeah. Yeah, you got that 17 in there. That was perfect. I'm looking forward to, like, I want to see what the response is. And I mean, I'm really excited to see any exhibits that are out. You know, any exhibits that get released. When they release the 43-second video at some point, I mean, Jesus, that's going to be incredible for me. And I guess the only stuff that they're not releasing are HIPAA things. Wait, did Rubicon do it again? Oh, there you go. Thanks, Rubicon. Somebody hit that, but thank you for your generosity in supporting the channel. Very cool. Yeah, and then once the transcripts are purchased, that's definitely something. I think I have to wait for somebody else. To buy it first, and then I get the lower price because the transcripts are, it's $5 a page. You're looking at, geez, $1,500 a day times 30. You're up in 10,000. Yeah, if my channel was really doing well, like what I might have thought of something like that, but no way. It's almost ridiculous, even if it was doing well. Why you shouldn't have to pay that kind of money to get transcripts for a trial. It should be available at cost. There should be no profit portion made by the state. You write it up, that's it. Yeah, I don't know who Rubicon is in the chat, but they're on... they just sent me Buy Me a Coffees. I don't know if that's what their name is in the chat. But let's see. And here we've got Puppy Vision, Another Night. Oh yeah, I'll get the here, how about we do the dog camera? You know, we're trying one of those. Benny barks so high pitched that it actually hurts my back sometimes. So we bought one of those things. It's not one of those electric shock ones, but it's a buzzer. Like the box. We're trying to figure out if that works or anything. It's like a bzzz. So maybe that'll make him so he doesn't. Man, it's the highest pitch bark. Like if you had a glass or something around, it would break. You know. Yeah, we wouldn't. The electricity one, we're not really into that. But it's like a little buzzer. It goes. Bzzz. Do those work at all? Have you guys tried that at all? They love those little dens, those little sort of rolled up things. They just crawl in there. And key fob that I clicked to train my dog. Oh, what does it do, the key fob? Do they wear something on them and then you click it? That's not a bad idea. What does that do? Look at them. They always sit right next to each other like that. One of them starts growling. See, like right now, Benny's growling. I guarantee it. And then Clancy's like, hey, I'm going to be right here if I want to. I'm going to be right here if I want to. Oh boy, are we going to have to start playing some of this again? Here they go. Oh yeah, Jesus, these guys are crazy. Anyways, here I'll put him up here, then you can see it better. I'm not sure if he's sleeping or what he's doing over there, but hey, get me alone! Leave me alone! Leave me alone! I think Clancy's got low ears. I don't know. Anyways, all right. So, anyways, thank you to Laura, Richard Watts. You know they exist. Paulette Leonard, 48 months, 4 years. I'm sure it's longer than that. Olivia. Then we've got Brandon Collins. Dirt in My Eye. Melanie gifted a membership. Very cool. Then Laura. Then Med247RN became a YouTube member. And then a super sticker. I'm not sure why it's green. It should be yellow. Stacy Pittman. Thank you. And T Chosen gifted 5. Very cool. Then Luke Stedman. Then Laura. And then Gina Powell. Then Amber Maiden. Then Vicky White gifted a membership. Then Vicky White. Then Allie Cake. Then Allie Cake again. Miss everyone. Be back soon. She's got eye problem. Everybody put out the positive vibes for everybody not doing well. Kim S. Gina Powell. Dirt in My Eye. And Stacy Pittman. All right. And thanks everybody again for the buy me a coffees, etc. Appreciate it. And that's going to do it. Is that one? There we go. That's sort of the main one there. But that's pretty clear video, isn't it? Not one of the dogs. That's just an old cell phone that you buy this NDI app and you turn it on, and then as long as it's on the same network in OBS Studio, it has an NDI source, and then you get to see what's on that camera. So it's kind of pretty cool, really, how that works. But there you go. So I hope you guys found the show interesting. Thanks everybody for being here and supporting the channel. We do have our month end thing coming up here in 3 days, the 31st. So we got the 29th, 30th, and 31st. And I don't know, we'll see how that goes. But I think my wife bought those at a store. They're pretty sweet. I like a PetSmart or something. They're amazing. They just crawl right into them and cuddle up in there. They immediately realize they're little dens to get into. Yeah. So anyways, thank you guys. Appreciate it. And we will, where's Chloe? They're, yeah. Well, it's hard to, they're just sort of sitting around on the couch. Maybe I'll try to film them one of these times. Yeah. Anyways, thanks everybody for being here. I just try to put out the information that is real. If you want to, if you have contradictory information, go ahead and send it over. But if you're going to try to send me sort of doctored up conspiracy theory stuff, I'm not going to look at it. But yeah, I know that they're missing some digital information, etc. But it doesn't mean because there's digital information missing that had this exculpatory information in there. The timeline is the timeline. If you can get anybody on the Richard Allen fan club to explain how he isn't the person in the timeline, and don't bring up the 12 to 130 bullshit, because the girls already cleared that one too. So you explain to me how he's not Bridge Guy based on the timeline and just common sense, then let me know. But they never do. They avoid that. They move on and try to smoke and mirrors all day long. So thanks everybody. We'll see you later. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, the projector, I'm a certified human lie detector. I'm gonna get you, I'll stretch you, if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime dissector is my nectar, the Professor Gray's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a protector, the reflector, interceptor, and I'm here with a spectre with a vector. On his spectre, with all respect, y'all. Just remember I'm the type of fucking check. I have no agenda, I'm no agenda, and I'll sort it to you straight without a blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send you on a mission to reveal a true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later. All right. See you guys later.